Is that good? Can you hear me?
Yep, that's good.
So, I'd like to thank Paul and Brett and the volunteers here, the ArtBar, going on 20 years. It's a fantastic tradition of poetry. It's my 4th time reading here. Last time I had laryngitis after doing 3 workshops in my high school. And so my voice is clear tonight, so I look forward to meeting to all of you, and welcome to everyone. Glad you could make it. When I read in China, I read this poem, but before I read it, I had the Chinese translation read, so it made a kind of bridge for the team, this poem and the Chinese audience. The Chinese man, in the afternoon, the old Chinese man kneels in a garden. The sunlight flickers, a golden tapestry on the red wall. Jazz from an old film echoes. A broken leaf falls. He feels for a single nail, sets it on the wood, hammers straight as thought. Resolute he is, a golden tapestry on the red wall. We often get our inspiration from different sources, and sometimes, as in this poem, it came from art. I saw a film at the Museum of Modern Art in Montreal, Contemporary Museum, and I wrote this poem. Music in the snow. Now is the moment when things fit. The bank book drops into a secret pocket. Money again, and the boundary comes clear under a halo of the light bulb. This is the moment, the resumption of music, when the moon parts her curtain and logic is a fence following the slope of hills. Now is the moment, the striking of baton, twirling of gold coins on the counters, meeting of lips, hear woman dance on snow, not act on the tragic stage. This is the moment when the picture lifts out of the canvas, swirls back deeply into the cosmos of the creator's heart, strong rush by semi-lunar valves. Love you, moon of my heart, my heart. Sometimes the bookmarks are quite precarious. Midnight. Midnight, my favorite hour. How comfortable to sit here listening to the refrigerator humming the syncopation of the clock. The midnight bus breaking in the warming up of an orchestra. After a long day's journey, I reach the shore and look out on sleep's dark breakers. Today we painted a wall. Not much, mind you, but those old green flowers are finally gone. We can hang pictures there. But get back to midnight, not the beach, but the wide red cable that spreads before me like a mesa. In the landscape are walnuts, green grapes, Spider-Man, and the wooden Russian dolls. My thought stops. I step outside myself. I am the stranger walking by the sea. Midnight, my favorite hour, when the refrigerator is an Arctic piano. After the hockey game last night, I drove into the unrecognizable Mauve City. On the mountain's edge, the boy and girl drank, danced, and sang into the wind. On the edge, be near the power, not the guardian, the thought, be the stranger, the reader. Come, the scherzo is over. Already the drum of the clock is fading, and the piano plays softly like a cardiogram. Listen, late night bus revelers, the voices of sleep. The clock steps draw you closer to the waves. Fatigue like a friend takes you into the weird night childhood. Now, after traveling all day, relearn the world. Stranger, the sea is here. Forget, and and welcome. You remember high school, you remember the subject of high school. I often think we don't forget anything from high school. Something comes back to us in a rush, and one of the things that came back to me was French. So I failed French 3 times in high school, and I ended up teaching at French universities, French-speaking universities for 30 years. Figure that out. You remember grade 8 when we spent 2 weeks learning 2 verbs? French dictation. Seeing the poster in the college hallway, Dictée des Émérites 1994, I remember the piercing words coming from the green plastic tape recorder. Écoutez, n'écrivez pas. The shrill voice of the dictator from the Franco-Prussian War. It was a voice calculated to evoke fear. Les études de Monsieur Dupuis, virgule. Sounds of panic, swirling turbulence, needles, punctures of skin. I spin like Lloyd Bridges in Sea Hunt, bubbles bursting around my twisted mass, drifting to the bottom of the sea. Et puis le pool dans les jardins devient ivre, point d'exclamation. The words came fast like a fusillade. The verbs lined up like battalions on a battlefield. Passé composé, du terrain d'arrière, future conditionnel. The dictator droned on about the drunken chickens, and my pen limped across the page, anticipating the impending red casualties. Hitchhiking from Algeciras to Madrid, an eccentric Moroccan threatened to throw me into the night of the Spanish desert. The only way to remain in the car was to speak French. Every noun, every verb, every phrase I could remember. The works of French 101, L'étranger, Huis clos, Livre de mon ami. Making up the language as I went along, hearing the sound of the dictator's voice, Écoutez, n'écrivez pas. Mesa formed in the desert became wolves. Shadows of trees became bandits. Then the language became my ally, allowing me to stay safe in the safety of the car, mile after mile. And so I talked about mauvaise foi, Meursault, and autre arabe, Grambeau, les dérangements de tous les sens, Baudelaire, and the nature entendre. I told the driver it didn't matter if it wasn't safe and the insurance had run out. Then I remembered the rules, felt the rhythm of the phrases. I talked about the virtues of Morocco. Les Grands Lacs, les Montagnes, la Mer. I talked about anything sous le soleil just to stay in the car, just to get to Madrid. Parle de Gaulle, parle de Quebec, parle de Gare de Seville, parle de Franco, parle de Lorca, parle de l'amour, parle de fromage, parle de vin, des fleurs, de Paris, de Londres, parle de la neige du Canada, mais ne parle pas anglais. We drove past the great fallen castles, spoke of the words of the dictator. Then les mots sont mes amis. The car, a strange, wide-finned ambulance, rumbled to the wild, sea-blue Spanish night. On the departure for Canada when I was in Paris, I went to the Louvre and they said it was a sign that said, we're sorry, about one third of the Louvre is closed tonight. I said, I'm going to miss something. And I thought, Lawrence, you can't even see a tenth of that 1/3 in a month, so what are you worried about? So I went to the Dutch section in the 18th century and I came across it, Vermeer. This is La Dentelière. La Dentelière. Bent over your lace, everything in your body draws me toward your hands. I can feel the tension as you pull the 2 strands of thread. The way you bend is your inclination to thread the form of fabric. Your cheeks and hidden smile, if it is a smile at all, are directed to the point in the sewing of the blue cloth. So I observe you concentrating on the point of the pattern that you make. I feel the motion of your hands, forearms, shoulders threading your life. forgetting about children, family, history, weaving them through your hands. How Vermeer has poised your eloquent fingers, your needle suspended in perfect tension. I look at you in that gold and white dress. The blue fabric is so tactile, I could run my finger over it. Lace maker, you spin fabric out of yourself. Draw me into the flowers of the sun as you float there, alive to the graceful interaction of work and life. I grew up in North Toronto, a place called Emery, and there was a pond there, Crang's Pond. This poem was read on CBC. I never heard it, but Gordy Howe was the moderator that day. Playing hockey on Crang's Pond for Dale Rich. We dreamed of playing at Maple Leaf Gardens, waited for Hockey Night in Canada, following the Plouffe family, Don Messer's Jubilee, and the chorus of the Esso commercial. What a great, great feeling, what a wonderful sense of pure enjoyment and no confidence. At the end of the 50s, a place to play hockey was Crang's Pond. We played with the Wolf brothers, Uptons and Rich, tightening skates on the frozen banks, striding onto the ice, clearing the rink and choosing sides. Each game was different, the swerves, the dekes, the glides, passing and shooting to break through the defense, bearing down on the goalie, the way I saw Mahovlich or Beliveau move, aiming for a corner by the boot post into the snow net. After the breathy exhaustion of the sudden death goal, we left our indecipherable signatures on the dark ice. We always tried to prolong the hockey season despite the water lapping the reedy pond's edge and the ice split not far from us, getting softer, turning a little gold. Taking off our coats and gloves, we played the game into the warm afternoon until the whole damn pond sagged and cracked beneath us. I'm not making commentary, because usually when I start making commentary, I don't have much left time to put poems. So I start telling stories, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to stick to the poems. Swimming Toward the Sun, the collection, the title of this collection. Swimming toward the sun, I could not stay in the cabin. Others slept while I stepped out under the night sky. How cold and damp the air. Before me is the lake. I walk down to the rock, think of those who died this year. The lake is dark, heavy, cloudy. There is mist on it, curling like grief. I sit on the beach, listen to the frogs in the large pit of the lake, singing in tenor and bass, syncopated in time, then the loons blowing their mysterious horns, two other loons who answer them, and the phoebes who raise their little melodies, while large invisible fish splash like timpani. The sounds rise and fall in this pastorelle, an orchestra in the morning mist. I swim away from the dock, the sun begins to break the horizon. I swim toward it as it sends golden rays across the waves, and two loons glide through serenity. They disappear into the light as I swim through. Thank you. Pencil. Like a baton, you know, pencil. I feel like the sorcerer in that Walt Disney, you know, sorcerer's apprentice, you know. Yes. Pencil. Scared the hell out of that wizard in grade 9 or 6. Poor Mickey had all the waves coming up, flooding the castle. Pencil. You are yellow, the color of the evening sun, rare as a harvest moon. You are composed of graphite, from the Greek grapheme to write. You are mine from the earth. I'm writing with her carbon. I love the sound of writing, the way words sound, the way they appear. I feel the force in my fingers, the movement like a rudder through water. Sometimes you go almost silent as a sigh or just move smoothly like fingers across the lover's shoulder. I love the action of writing, the way I can conjure words out of the world. When I look through the frame of the room at the road lighted by the archipelago of light bulbs drawn like a bracelet over the dark, snowy hillsides, it invites me into the journey of the night and the evening itself and mise en scène. Pencil, yours is a kingdom of rocks and earth. Write me on this page, write me away slowly when the movement of the earth takes the energy of the carbon, leaving itself on the page. I got another page. Let me finish the poem, okay? Maybe I was too slow in turning the page, you know? That was it, you know? You have to at the tempo right when you're up here, you know? It's the moment of kinesthesia, electricity exploding at the molecular level, the transfer of energy in its private metaphors, moving me toward the horizon of the earth, beyond your end. Thank you, Al. That means a lot coming from you. So anyway, you know, I like to talk. I like, you know, it's kind of like this. I was a professor for 30 years, so I'm really, my wife kept saying, don't talk, don't talk. Okay, so poems sometimes, I like this kind of syncopation which comes from the furnace, whatever that is up there, you know, it's a nice background. So a lot of poems come from dreams. Four titles of my book have come from dreams. Poetry reading dream. Have you ever been in a dream and tried to read the poem you wrote, or did you imagine you wrote but couldn't because it wasn't there, going through the pages? But the book is nearly blank. There's not one single fully recognizable poem. This is a nightmare. I continue going through the books and now I'm starting to lose it. Every time I find a book, there's something wrong with it. And the audience is getting larger and people hanging all over the place. I scavenge through this archival pile looking for the poetry in all this mess. Suddenly, something wonderful happens and the small, dingy, fake Parisian studio space becomes a large Montreal bibliothèque. Half the walls disappear. I'm in a country world with parks and rivers and mountains and feel as high as a mountain and begin with a poem. I was walking in the city and there was music everywhere and everywhere was light, light. There was rhythm in every motion, every thought, every glance, and I was enjoying it, grooving with it, my body swinging and moving. You have to look for the mountains in the city. You didn't know that they have mountains in Montreal. Look at them, ladies and gentlemen. Look beyond your library eyes to the glowing peaks. Feel the mountains in your blood, in your hands, in your feet. Let them sing in your veins. Let them tell you how to speak. Let them swing, shake, and break you. Let the mountains speak within you from every corner of your life, from every lighted space of your being. Let them sing out of every neglected moment, out of every impossible dream. Let the mountains sing with you. Let them waken you to their eyes. And the audience is swaying there with me. I can see the mountains in their eyes. I feel excitement in their veins. I can sense the hunger for the ordinary. I can touch their elemental game. Why can't every reading be like this? Sure. Algonquin logger chute. After Simcoe's last Young Street portage vertigo, the wandering rocks, the shifting shoulder blades, the throbbing yoke, we emerge with canoe before the dark green lagoon of strewn graveyard of trees, twisted in all shapes and sizes, to step out into Hieronymus Bosch's beach party and joke about this place as the Anti-Poetry Club Med, Masochists Anonymous, in Procruste's Holiday Inn, will take good care of you, stretch you until you're in fine shape, Everywhere bones, tender clavicles, slender humors, jagged ribs, warped tibia, fractured femur, the pelvis's girdle, shimmers in the last quiver of pleasure, and the sockets in York's funhouse. Survey it all, taking it all in, taking it all down. To get clear of this ghostly carnival of the animals with no Virgil to be your guide in this broken honky-tonk town, you have to act out of this labyrinthian fantasy, but the Minotaur is not the beast, but your mind. Thank you.